Hello, hello. I know it's been a minute. And then some. How is everybody doing? I am so glad to be back streaming. I have fun doing this. And I regret. Oh, great. Long pressure avatar to go straight to stream manager. Okay, so today I am going to be monitoring the chat on my phone so that I won't stress my laptop that much. Hopefully, cause less lag, all that good stuff. And this is the first time I've done that, so I got my phone here. And so I'm figuring out how to use Twitch on my phone to actually monitor my chat. Let me see. There's an activity feed. That's the chat itself. I don't really need to see the activity feed. Well, no, actually I do, because then that way I'll be able to see who follows me, if anybody raids me or hosts my stream. Maybe should I let me turn the computer audio down just a little bit. I'm looking at the audio mixer to see where things fall. And so I wanted to make sure that I had the computer audio up loud enough to mask the environmental noise from my laptop's fan, because my fan works really, really hard and my laptop sounds very loud and my mic is right next to it. So I want to make sure that the computer audio, including the music, is louder than that. But I don't want the music to be so loud that I pretty much have to yell at the top of my lungs in order to be heard over it. So right now it looks like a pretty decent balance. If it's not, let me know and I will adjust it. Now let me see if there's anything else I can do. I'm going to change my title because today I just want to do some building, at least for right now. So we will be building in my save file. And yes, I am creating my own save file. Whatever possessed me to do this to myself, I don't know. I must love building, and I do. I've said that before. All right, let me see. Update information, cool. But it doesn't look like I can go into mod view from here. And that kind of concerns me. That kind of concerns me. Okay, let's see. Okay, the other stuff I can't click on. Okay, I can send a message. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to play this by ear. I mean, I may. And actually, okay, the easiest way to do it, I think, would be through the through my web browser on my phone. I should plug my phone into, oh goodness, hang on, I'm going to go and get my phone charger. Be right back. Okay, I am back and I have my phone charger. But I also brought my Chromebook with me in case I can't find or I can't do what I want to do via my browser on my phone. So, you know what? Let's close all of this stuff. Yeah, I've got 1,000,001 apps open on my phone right now. Now, I don't want to close all because I don't want to quit Twitch yet on my phone. Okay. So, I have an Android phone, but I prefer to use Firefox as opposed to Chrome. I mean, okay, honestly, I really don't have a preference with web browsers on my phone. On my laptop, I use Firefox because I think back in the day there were some concerns about Chrome, the privacy issues on Chrome. But anyway, I've gotten into the habit of using Firefox on my laptop, so I downloaded it onto my phone as well. And let's see if I would like to log in. Actually, I'd like to turn on dark theme because I like that better. And I think I'm already logged into Twitch in Firefox on my phone. Let me see. It's not telling me. Oh, it wants me to open it in the app. No. Desktop site, please. Thank you. Now I can log in on my phone. So how have you been doing? What have you been up to? If you feel like chatting. If you don't feel like chatting, that's okay too. I appreciate lurkers just as much as I appreciate chatters because heaven knows I lurk a lot on Twitch. You know, sometimes you just don't feel like talking. And I know when I first started streaming, I felt some kind of way about people lurking, and sometimes I would actually check to see who or how many lurkers, how many people I actually had in the chat. And I've learned not to do that. For one thing, because I do this for fun, so I don't want to stress myself out with trying to, worrying about, why aren't there more than X number of people in the chat, and why aren't people talking as much as I would like them to, or whatever. But also because I realized that just like I like to lurk on Twitch, other people do too. And I wouldn't appreciate if I was happily lurking and someone kept calling me out, say, Lotus every day, why don't you say something? So I try not to be that streamer to other people. Do unto others and all that golden rule type stuff. Okay, let me see if I can get logged in. Let's not save this. Oh, it wants me to use my app, Authy app. Okay, fine. Oh, come on. That didn't work? Okay, let's try it again. I keep taking too long to enter the code, and it's not happy with me. Well, you need to give me more time. Okay, fine. Fine. I want you to send me a text message then. I have a feeling that there's something wrong with the app. Hello, where's my SMS? Oh, duh, I can just copy it to my clipboard. It is not cooperating with me. Okay, fine. I guess I'm just gonna have to do this on, I'm not gonna keep fighting with this. I'm gonna just have to do it through the app and hope that I don't run into any problems. Alright, so let me get to building. Well, I want to do some building today, and like I said, I am working on a save file. So let's see, I've already updated the Willow Creek archive, but I want to change the lot name, of course. And I don't have to change it to what's in the gallery. Oh, I see. This is going to take a minute. Fine. Well, you know what I can do? Maybe if I go to live channels and find my stream that way. Oh, there are a lot of cool simmers on right now. I'm going to have to check some of them out when I'm done. Did I put in the wrong... Wait. I think I put in my wrong username. That's why it wouldn't let me log in. Did I? No, that can't be. No, I put in the right username. It's just being funky. Because there I am. Okay, but it still won't let me see the chat in mod view. Okay. I know how to solve that problem once and for all. Instead of monitoring the chat, oh, now you're sending me my Twitch codes? Go away. You're useless. Let's clear that. I'm not going to monitor the chat on my phone. I'm going to monitor the chat on my Chromebook because that I know works. Creator dashboard. Stream manager. I can turn off the sound too, because I don't want to. I don't want that in the background. And then I'll be good to go. Says I have an excellent connection. That's a good thing. I am pleased. What the heck? Am I not pleased? Thank you. I just want my share. So I am currently streaming Godfathers of Deep House out of South Africa, and I like to stream them because I don't run into copyright issues with most of the music that they play in their mixes. And that makes me happy because I do not like it when any portion of my stream gets muted. Okay, here we go. And I'll pause that. Cool. Okay, now I can see my chat in mod view. And let's take mute that. Okay. And let's take a look at Willow Crick Archive. So this is what I did with Willow Crick Archive, and this is uploaded to the gallery. Let's see, I gave it lot traits, fast internet, good schools, child's play, which makes sense for a library. I like having kids come to the library to do homework, kids and teens. So in my version, there was already a third floor, unbeknownst to me. I've been playing The Sims 4 since February, and I did not know. Okay, hang on. I did not know that there was a third floor. Okay, you're good. So one day I happened to, just out of curiosity, hit the up button, and lo and behold, there's a third floor. So I made a staircase from the second floor up to the third, and put some bookshelves up here, and a little table, a chest table. Yeah, the windows were already here, I believe. Now there's another version that I created of this where I created, I put a large dormer out on this back side. You know what? These bathrooms are huge. They don't have to be so huge. I mean, really. Like, you could make 2 more bathrooms. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because there's really no reason for this to be so large. Let's move some of this stuff out. What is this? That's not what I want. Now, in theory, they're large enough to be accessible, but see, the problem is there are no elevators or ramps in the base game in The Sims 4, and even if you get the city living pack, the elevators will only work in San Myshuno builds, so you can't make multi-story buildings accessible using elevators in any of the other worlds. I hate that. I hope they change that because it's completely unrealistic in the year 2020. It was also completely unrealistic in the year 2014 when the game first came out, but we know how people make accessibility an afterthought, unfortunately. How do I want to do this? I like the counter setup, but really, in a public restroom with one stall, there's no reason to have this much cabinet space because all you would really have is cleaning supplies, extra tissue, and extra paper towels for drying hands. So you really only need one counter, a plant is nice for decoration's sake. Oh, I didn't need to copy it. I just needed to move it. So let's get rid of that. And I'm going to make this bathroom smaller, a lot smaller. So we'll put that there, and let's move the toilet there. Okay. Then I can put the art on this wall. Put the trash can right next to, I can put it next to the sink or next to, let's put it next to the toilet. Because people with uteruses would appreciate that when you're dealing with menstruation. And then let's make the toilet, make the whole room smaller. Can I take it in? I can take it in one more tile. There, that's so much better. That makes a lot more sense for a public restroom. So I'm going to do this one the same way. But I'll make it a mirror version. So in this one, I'll put the toilet against that wall. And move the sink here. So the sinks will be back to back. I'll reposition that in a sec. Okay. There must be something on the wall that's clipping into this bathroom. I'll take care of that too once I get everything situated. Oh, it's the artwork. Okay, I can move that. I can either move it or make it smaller. That's no big deal. Put that there. Where's my trash can? Did I delete it? I think I deleted it. Oh no, here it is. Oh, you know what I don't have? I don't have a potty. And if people have kids, if people bring their toddlers to the library, which there's no reason why they couldn't, they would need a potty. We need to take care of that. Okay, so what I'll do, is there space for a potty? There's space for a potty right there. Okay. So here's what I'll do. I'll shift the door over. I'm being able to place doors on half tiles is much more convenient now. I'll just put a simple potty. Right there. And we'll do the same thing in the other bathroom. And I'll have to do this in the downstairs bathrooms again as well. Not necessarily. Well, yeah, I'll make the downstairs bathroom smaller too, because that'll provide much more space for things like books. Which, hello, it's a library. You want space for books. Okay, and they don't have a ceiling light, but that's okay, because the bathroom is small enough that it can be lit by the over vanity light. There, and now you have a much larger space. I don't have to move the door on this one, but I believe I will. Let's move it over half tile. And then those can go between the doors. And I'd like to move this. There's no art. There's no art in there, which is fine. I'll put this here. There. Yeah, those bathrooms make a lot more sense. Now, let me see. We have all this space on the upstairs. Hey, Gabby, thank you. I appreciate that. How you doing today? Here in New York City, it is 4:16 p.m. on Sunday. Let me see, do I want to put a dormer in the back? Actually, I don't have to. Now that we have more space on the inside, let me see. I know the colors are kind of drab, but it's not just a library, it's an old-fashioned library, and I want to keep that same look. I'm thinking we'll put another love seat here, because what I have in mind is people can come up here and like sit and chat and stuff. Because it's up on the 3rd floor, it'll be out of the way of the main library patrons. And if people sit up here and talk, then it won't bother folks as much. Doing good. How are you? I'm doing good too. I had a wonderful soak earlier this afternoon and a hot moisturizing Epsom salt bath. And my skin is singing my praises right now. Okay, so while it's on my mind, let me redo the bathrooms downstairs too. You see how much space this takes up? That doesn't make much sense. So, let me move. My game's lagging just a little bit, so I can't move the mouse as fast as I would like, but hey, we make do with what we have. I'll slide that over. I'm going to end up without ceiling lights in these too, but that's fine. In New York, I was born and grew up there, but live in Florida. Oh, wow. How long have you lived in Florida? I was born in New York City. I was raised in New Jersey, and then I came back to New York City in 2003. I moved here for a job. I've been here ever since. I love living here. I'll stick that there. And we need a potty for our toddler visitors. Let's put green ones downstairs. I think I forgot to move the artwork. Wasn't there artwork on the inside here? Which place are you decorating? This is Willow Creek Archive. I am working in my save file. I decided to put myself through the ringer. No, it's actually not that bad. Actually, I decided to do a save file because I wanted a long-term building project because I love to build. So days when I don't feel like doing much gameplay or I just want to have some fun building, redesigning lots and stuff, my save file is a place where I can do that. For some reason, this light is not working as well in here, so I am going to add a ceiling light. As I like for my lots to be well lit. Thank you very much. Been here for 13 years. That's almost as long as I've been back in New York City. I've been back in New York City. Oh, wow. Almost 17 years. It'll be 17 years in December. Oh my God. It does not feel that long. Wow. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. So, actually, I can make this. Um, is that its usual size? I think so. I can make it back to its usual size. So, what made you decide to move to Florida? I moved back to New York City for a job. I don't currently have the job, thank goodness. It was a good decision at the time, so I don't regret making the move. But after a while, that job became toxic, so I was very happy to leave it behind. And a few good things came out of that besides just being in New York City, the biggest of which being meeting my partner. We definitely would not have met if I had stayed upstate. We wouldn't have met if I had stayed in that job either. I actually met them when I was between jobs and I was attending a computer training center, updating my skills in the event another job came around that could use those skills. So lots of good came out of moving down here and leaving that horrible, horrible job. I'm so lazy when it comes to decorating or building. I am lazy in CAS, so don't feel bad. We all have our stuff that we like to do, and I mean, it's a game. Why force yourself to spend a lot of time and energy doing stuff that you don't enjoy? That's my philosophy. Some people feel so bad. Oh, I really suck because I don't like to spend a lot of time doing. It's okay. It's a game. Do what's fun. Yeah, let me put some lights here. Now that we have that extra space, I mean, don't I don't know if I'm gonna put anything here. I mean, because who really would want to sit right next to the bathrooms? Right next to the bathroom doors, you might see and hear some things that you'll regret for the rest of your life. So I don't think I'm gonna put bookshelves here, but I just like it so much better having that space to breathe. Maybe I'll just put bookcases against the wall, and I won't put. Let's see. Oh, these are the ones that can't be cloned. Okay, I'll put the other ones here. I'll put bookcases against the wall, but I won't put any seats down. or maybe an ottoman. I definitely won't put computer tables. I first moved with my family because New York winters were too cold for my mom since she has arthritis. Yeah, and she wanted a better education for us. Oh, okay. I mean, that's a very good reason to move. I certainly can't argue with that. I'm not sure why my dad moved us to New Jersey, and I'm pretty sure it was dad's decision because that's how he did stuff. Um, not really my mom's decision, but I can't argue that it was a bad decision. For a long time, I felt like I had missed out on something important by not being able to grow up in New York City, but um, a few years ago, I saw photos of New York City in the 70s and the 80s, and I realized that my folks probably did a good thing, and it is likely that I got a much better education in that New Jersey suburb than I would have been able to get had we stayed here. So I don't fault my folks. I'm grateful that they did that. But I was in and out of New York City all the time because my mom had family. Her sister lived here, still lives here. My cousin still lives here. And at the time, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, lived here. My dad had a few relatives here too. So we were in and out of New York City at least once a month, mostly in Brooklyn. Okay, this looks nicer. So here's your first floor. And I haven't done anything to the second floor. It probably wouldn't hurt to add a couple of computer desks up here for people who want to work on computers in a quieter space. So how about I do that? And why is it so dark up here? All right, we need to add some more lights. Libraries should be bright. All the better to read all of the amazing books that are in them. Okay, did I miss a light somewhere? No, I didn't. Okay. Oh, okay, when I started moving it for some reason. Usually it'll keep cloning the lights. There's that. And let's put just a simple console. Let's add this one. Kind of lighten up the colors a bit. Because it is very dark with the drapes and stuff. And I'm not going to change that. I want to leave the library in Willow Creek with that more traditional style. And I have to remember to leave this base game only in case I do finish the save file and make it available for people to download. Then anyone who has Willow Creek, anyone who has the base, just the base game, they don't have any of the packs, would still be able to use it. Okay, so we've got a computer terminal there. Let's put another one on this side. And I need to do something about the lights on this side as well. Just over in this corner here. I happen to love libraries, so when I'm modifying a library like this one, I think about what would I like. When I was in high school, the library was my happy place. I went there a lot. It was one of the few places I was allowed to go without question, question of where I was and who I was with, and I took full advantage of that. Okay, let's get rid of this light because it is not doing much of anything. And we'll put this light in this corner. That's better. Um, and an end table would be good there too, if I'm going to keep the easy chairs. Let's see, something kind of traditional style. Oh, they use a lot of the mega furniture in here, so a mega end table would probably work well. Did I use any end tables upstairs? I did. I'll use the same one downstairs that I used up here. Okay, that was the mega end table. Alrighty. It makes sense. And let's see. Are there any small sculptures? Base game only. That would look good here. Do you really want to put sculptures in a library though? I guess it depends on what it is. That's cute. Okay. Yeah, I want to get rid of the floor lamps. They don't add much in the way of good light. Definitely not the way ceiling lamps would. Get this table, these chairs, an end table. And I'll put a plant on the, oh, there's no art on the wall. The only thing with doing a build where you're limited to which packs you use is that you're really limited as well in terms of things like wall art. You're right, never really use floor lamps. Yeah, sometimes I'll use them just to break the monotony of always using ceiling lights, but they take up space and they actually don't work all that well. At least not the ones in the game. In real life, it's totally different, but yeah. Let's add a splash of color up here with a blue pot. And let's find another. See, we already have that one. Let's put this one up. Yeah, it's these small touches. You know, a little bit of art, a plant here, a plant there, that really make a place look more welcoming. Let's see. Oh, I do have it lined up on the same line. Okay, I'll leave that there then. And maybe I'll leave this floor lamp just for something different. But for the most part, ceiling lights are definitely the way to go. Alright, so now the second floor is more fleshed out. And I think I'm pretty much done with the third floor. Just let me stick another piece of art there. It's okay if they're two of the same. Yeah, I like that. Now, what should I call this? So since this is my own save file, I can change the name to whatever I want. Hmm. I could just call it Willow Creek Public Library. Let's see. Not enough. There's not enough space to put that whole thing. I mean, I could call it Willow Creek Library, but that's the same as Willow Creek Archive. I mean, technically, Willow Creek Public Library is the same as Willow Creek Archives. Let's name the library after somebody. Not the land grabs. Not the land grabs. Let's see. Let's see. Famous female librarians. I'm tired of everything being named after guys. So yeah, I am not naming a library after Laura Bush. Hypatia? Philosopher, astronomer, mathematician. Oh wow. Who lived in Alexandria, Egypt, and part of the Eastern Roman Empire. That's interesting. I had never heard of her. Died in 415 Common Era. Audre Lorde. Oh, yes. Audre Lorde Archive. That was easy. Audre Lorde. The Audre Lorde Archives. There we go. Did I build out the backyard in this? I did. Good. Good. Yeah, I did that in the previous build. Is this base game? Great name. Thank you. This is woven lattice fence. That is base game. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so I can leave that. So I will save this to the library. There are 4 toilets. Writer, womanist, and librarian. After womanist and librarian, remodel of the Willow Creek Archives. Has a renovated back patio with a door to the patio for the main library area, plus a renovated third floor. A lot of tricks make this a great place for kids to do homework and to learn. Yes, so I will upload that to the gallery. Yes, I want to overwrite it because anytime I would place this library, I would use this version more than I would use the version that I had done that I just renovated. So yes, if that changes, I can always go back to my old save file and get the other version. Saving, there we go. And I also need to go to the library. I'm going to remove the other one because I'm pretty sure I have a couple of versions of this in the gallery. Let's see, content. At least I thought I did. Yes, I do. Oh no, I hadn't saved them to the gallery. Oh wow, okay. Oh right, because I was still in the process of remodeling it. Okay, fine. That's fine. All right. Let's see what else I can do in Willow Creek. I think Willow Creek is the lot that I started with in this save file. So there's that. I had redone movers and shakers. I haven't gotten to the blue velvet yet, but I had redone some of these residences. So I redid Crick Cabana, Daisy Hovel. I redid Crick Cabana a couple of times because when I redid it at one point, I had made it much more expensive than a starter home. But it's important to have starter homes in the game, in a save file, just because not everybody wants to build or search through the gallery for a starter home to plop down on a lot. I need to check out your page. You would have good builds. Oh, thanks. Yeah, in the about section of my bio, you'll find links to all of my social media as well as to my Discord. And on my Discord, I'm actually starting to share a lot more and tell the story of the 3 legacy families that I'm playing with in a different save file. So you might enjoy that. I have not looked at this version of the house yet. Do I want to look at that? I'm not sure I want to look at that. I know what I want to do. I want to redo. I want to replace this version of Magnolia Blossom with a renovated version that I did in a different save file. Go back to the gallery. And I forgot, did I have Blossom in the name? Let's see. Apparently not. Park. No. Okay. I am looking for lot type. It's going to be park. Oh, right. I called it Cherry Grove. And I'm just going to plop this down as is. We want it furnished. Thank you. Yay. So let me take you on a little tour. I gave it bracing breezes, sunny aspect, and romantic aura. Because, for some reason, I think of cherry blossoms as very, very romantic. And it's probably because of the time of year that they bloom. I just love going to the botanic gardens when the cherry blossoms are in bloom, and it just feels very romantic to me, even if I'm there by myself and I'm not on a date. So I definitely gave this a romantic aura. So what I did was add a lot more cherry trees, as you can see from the vast amounts of pinkness now in the park. I added an observatory. So you can come here and you can look at the stars while or woohoo in the observatory, I guess, if the mood strikes you. Added a couple more benches for seating. I believe I added this cherry tree. I definitely added the bench, but I think I added the cherry tree as well. And then another one back here so people can sit by the pond without having to sit on the picnic benches. And then in the main building, let's go down. So in the main building, did I add bathrooms? I don't remember. I don't remember if I added toilets. I think I did, but already I see a problem because there are no potties here. And if somebody wants to bring their toddler to the park, there's nowhere for their toddler to go to the bathroom. So let me fix that. And let me see what's going to be the best way. What's going to be the best way to fix that? Because if I make the bathrooms larger, I'd have to take out one. Unless I can find a way to squeeze a potty into one of the corner bathrooms because they have a little bit more floor space. Maybe, let me see. We'll make the potties pink since there's so many cherry blossoms. And then I'll put it here. And I should play test this to make sure it's actually usable. So let's do that. I don't have a toddler in the save file, but I can whip up one real quick. It's so funny to me that I've had a few people say that they really like my builds, and it's really funny to me because I've always thought of myself as not always, for a very long time, I thought of myself as not being very creative. And it's only been in recent years that I have appreciated and recognized my own creativity. Oh, you know what? We need to make him a child and a toddler. Okay, so this is Melinda, and she is goofy. She has a creativity aspiration. And we will add a toddler. Yes. And we'll add a brother, and her brother will be a toddler. Hello, sweetie pie. Oh, aren't you cute? his name is Ezekiel, and he is energetic, which is perfect for being in the park. Okay. So yeah, only in the last few years, I'll say 5 years because it doesn't seem like quite a decade, but it seems longer than just a couple of years. So like in the past 5 years, I have really started to appreciate. No, no, no. Select the household with Sims to visit with. No, I want y'all to travel. Okay. I guess I have to load you first. I've started to appreciate and recognize my own creativity. And so when I started playing The Sims back in February, this was like a shot of creative caffeine right in my veins because for a while I was feeling like I had been in a bit of a creative rut. This game gives me a new outlet for my creativity, whether it's building or gameplay. And I really like that the gameplay has reawakened my creativity. I like to write, I have liked to write short stories. I haven't done it in a while. Again, feeling like I was in a bit of a rut and probably not appreciating my own creativity as much as I should. Oh my goodness, I put him with kids in this one bedroom house. Oh well. All I need to do is add a toddler bed, but this isn't for gameplay anyway. This is just my save file. The only reason I'm doing them is because I want to be able to play test my builds. So the gameplay aspect of this has really revitalized my storytelling. Because in order for me to enjoy the game, then I have to tell stories. And that forces me, if I'm going to enjoy myself, enjoy my gameplay, that forces me to appreciate my storytelling instead of, say, comparing it to someone else's and saying, oh, this is sappy or this is boring or whatever. I look at it like this is what I do for fun. And I've gotten to a point in my life where I am able to validate my the ways that I have fun. Uh-oh, can you not get in here? I just have a history of not validating myself, and it has been so wonderful in the past 5 to 10 years of watching myself grow out of that and actively nurturing self-validation. Oh, awesome. Okay, the potties work. Great. Great. Back into build mode we go, because all I need to do now is resave it to the gallery. I've always forgotten to put potties in my builds on public lots, and it wasn't until I watched a build by Plumbella, I think last week sometime, and it was an old build of hers where she was taking us on a tour of a build that she had just done of a public lot, and she pointed out how she made sure to include potties because she wants her public lots to be all inclusive. And I really, really, really like that idea because I've run into it several times where I want to go somewhere with my toddlers, but there's no potties for them. There's nothing for them. And it just never occurred to me to just add toddler stuff to my builds. Now, unfortunately, in the base game, there isn't a lot of toddler stuff. There is a stuff pack that I haven't bought yet that adds things like a ball pit and a little slide and all of that stuff. But for base game only, there's not that much in the way of toddler stuff. See, the rest house includes toddler potties as well as a fireplace for those cold winter days. Yes. Yes. And so technically there are 6 toilets because there are 4 toilets and 2 potties. And we are going to put this up on the gallery, and yes, we're going to override it because we do need potties. Oh, I forgot to use the base game hashtag. That's okay. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's I won't stress about it. I don't think I will. Actually, I will. Let me unsave this from the gallery. And add the base game hashtag. Now I'll resave it to the gallery. Thank you. Okay, so let me continue my tour of Cherry Grove. So you've got, actually I can go into live mode to do this. So now we actually have potties for our toddlers who visit the park. There is a fireplace and a speaker, so if people come here during the winter, they have a warm place where they can hang out, they can listen to some music, they can dance, and there are restrooms. They can do all of those things. They don't have to sit outside in the snow if they don't want to, and or if they are outside in the snow, they can come inside and warm up because there's a fireplace there. I added, oh, that's why I didn't make it base game. Duh. Okay, I added a basketball court and swings. These are not base game items. A basketball court comes with city living, I think, and the swings come in either Parenthood or Get Together. I don't remember which. Okay, let me go back into Billboard. I need to change that. I'm going to leave the items there, but I am going to get rid of the base game tag. See, I should have realized that there was a good reason why I left off the base game hashtag. Usually when I do builds in the base game worlds, I try to make those builds base game only. I only use base game items in those builds, and that's because, when I first started, I didn't have any packs, and there are plenty of people who don't have any packs. They either don't have the money or they don't have the desire to spend the money on packs. Whatever. It's not my business why they don't have packs. All that matters is that they don't have packs, and I want people who don't have packs to be able to download my builds from the base game worlds and use them without missing a lot of items. But for this build, I made the choice, yes, I want to overwrite it. I made the choice to use just a couple of items that aren't base game, so that it could better enhance the gameplay, and specifically the playground gameplay. I believe everything else other than the playground equipment is base game, because I did want the bulk of this build to be base game. And if it wasn't for the fact that I really, really wanted to improve the playground and add more options, this would have been a base game only build. So yeah, the original playground here had the pirate ship and the 2 monkey bars, so I added 2 sets of swings. You can see some kids taking advantage of. I added the spaceship and the half basketball court. I also put a couple extra tables out. You know, if you're going to have a neighborhood basketball game, you might have some friends who want to come and watch, and they might want to sit with their refreshments or whatever. And so adding those tables allows for that. And that's pretty much it. There wasn't a lot of stuff that I had to do um, to make this, to improve this build. And that's the case with a lot of EA builds, not all of them. But a lot of EA builds, they have what I would consider the basics. And you just have to add a few more things to really make it great for gameplay. Uh oh, somebody lit the fireplace. You can see the smoke coming out of the chimney. I added that chimney too. When I added the fireplace, then I added the chimney just for a point of realism. Oh, I didn't need to go back into build mode. What I want to do is go back to manage worlds. And yes, I'd like to save. Thank you. Let's see, what else do I want to add to Willow Creek? I'm still in the mood to do some building. That's doing that. Let me clean up some stuff on my channel. On my Chromebook, using my Chromebook. I see some other simmers I enjoy who are on right now. It feels good to be streaming again. I think it was 12 or 13 days since my last stream. Go back and check out my highlights. I like to pull 2 or 3 highlights from each stream just so that people will know what kind of chatter and gameplay they're likely to see when they come to my channel. So even though the saves don't stay around after 2 weeks, because I do Twitch will keep the recordings of my stream around for 2 weeks, but after that they delete them, but the highlights will be there for you to enjoy. It's good to see you stream. I like coming in and chatting with you. Thank you, Gabby. I appreciate that. That's really the fun thing for me about streaming, is just being able to chat with other people who have similar interests. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna do. Do you stream, Gabby? Let me check out your account. Oh, you've been around a while. Oh yeah, I just followed you in August. Okay, cool. I don't think I caught one of your streams yet. I'm gonna have to watch my notifications more closely, because it seems like I've been missing streams from people who I enjoy seeing, just because I don't pay that much attention to my notifications. It gets overwhelming. Yeah, I get my notifications by email. And you know how email inboxes get sometimes. They're full of a lot of junk, so you miss stuff. Okay, so I've done the library, I've done the park. Oh, let's go back to the gym. Okay, so this is a reno that I did of movers and shakers. And I might leave it as it is, but let's see. There might be some stuff that I want to change. I do want to change the name, since this is my own save file. Then I like giving lots their own names. I'm gonna have to do that with the residential lots that I renovated and put in this save file too. I already see some stuff I want to fix. What's up? What's the matter? Uh, Hang on one second.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7, 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station. The hottest DJ mixing the beats. Beats. Mixing the beats. 5, 4, 3.
Okay, I'm back. Right, so I was saying that I already see some stuff I want to change. The cool thing with community lots is that I don't have to worry about the price. Okay, you do stream at times. I like to watch this YouTuber. She does Sims 4 builds, recreates, and tells true crime contents. Oh my gosh. Wow, that sounds awesome. Put their username in the chat, please. I'd like to check them out. I hate these lights. Oh my god. Okay, yes. We are so changing this because I don't know. These lights do not spark joy, nor do these. Oh my god. I am recondoing this lot. I redid this. I renovated this probably a couple of months ago, and as I learn more, then I go back and change stuff. So that is what I'm doing here. We are going to put in those lights, and it's much brighter now. I don't like the wall color either. I wonder what I could change it to. Oh, you know what? Let's make a feature wall. Feature walls are interesting. Her name is Cool. I'm gonna have to check her out. I'm going to go to her channel and just put it in my browser. Oh, Hip Hop Renee. Hi, Fripp. Yeah, no, it's Hip Hop Renee. Okay, cool. Okay. It's funny how how you read stuff. Okay, the outside is brickwork, so I will use, let me see, can I clone that? Industry matters, okay, good. Yeah, I like that. It just makes the wall more interesting. Now we should have the mirrors by all of the weight machines because, you know, those people who lift weights, man, they like to see what they look like. And let's add another treadmill. I mean, why not? You have a space for it. Line them up. Which means I could add more treadmills here if I wanted to, but I don't think I want to. I don't want to overcrowd the gym. So that's fine. Oh, these lights are not fine. Because again, they do not spark joy. And why? Oh, because the stairs are here. Okay. All right. I was wondering why the door wasn't centered, but that makes sense. That light there doesn't even make any sense to me. And there is plenty of space for one more punching bag. One here, one here. I'm going to be anal retentive about the spacing because I can. And let's put some lighting in. That lighting is much better. And why, if all of the punching bags are facing towards the door, but all of the mirrors are at the back. So let's change which way the punching bags are facing. You know, again, it's the little things. It really is. Oh man, I hate these lights. Please go away. I'll leave those over the mirror and the ones over the door, but this one can go away. That one can go away. Because now with the improved lighting, it's not making any sense. And then I'll just, we can say that those lights, especially the ones over the door, are emergency lights. Even though they're not, but hey. I mean, they kind of look like emergency lights, though. The ones that run off of battery power if you lose main power. So we've got some... This is not my doing, but this will be my fixing. Got a plant. Clipping into the wall. Now it no longer is. Well, not that way. Well, it kind of is, but it's not showing anymore, which... I guess it's a more important thing. I could just move it out. Because it's not like there's anything in front. There we go. And I can do the same thing here. This one's a little bit more difficult because you've also got the door. You don't want to block the door. Okay, so now we've got another boxing thing. Punching bag. I cannot word today. And let me go upstairs. So when I renovated this, before I know I'm changing those lights, Um, when I renovated this before, my renovation was to close up the showers because every time someone would come into the locker room, if someone was in the shower, they would stop here and be like, oh, because they saw the person naked. And because I played with in Wall's cutaway view, I could never figure out why. And it wasn't until one day I saw them do that, and I went into Wall's up view and I saw that all manner of walls were missing in here. So I added the walls, I added additional lighting in the locker room because the locker room was dark. I think there was only one ceiling light in the locker room. So I changed that. I don't know, I don't know if I want to change the lights in the locker room because it's plenty bright. I do, however, want to change the lighting in the shower rooms. Because in real life, that would be a safety issue. I would not want to. Why is the toilet paper so high up on the wall? I will be fixing that as well. I would not want to go into a public restroom that was not well lit because someone could be waiting for you there, someone could come in and do stuff to you. So I am making sure that these restrooms are well lit. And yes, it adds cost to the lot. However, like I said, the cool thing about public lots is you don't have to worry about price because nobody's buying them. You're in free build mode. You don't have to worry about price in the slightest. Let's see. Oh, right. I need to change the toilet paper. It's too high up on the wall. That makes no sense. That's better. Did I put it any lower? This one needs to go lower. Can be even lower than that. Because usually it's right by your thigh. Sometimes it's a little bit higher, but the big ones are usually a little bit higher. But these little single roll holders, generally, they're right by your thigh. So that works. There should probably be a shelf or something for you to put your stuff on. Yes, I'm still watching. Thank you. There should be a shelf or something for you to put your stuff on while you're in the shower. So let's fix that. Base game. And so I can see what I am doing. So I am using a mod called Expanded Build By Catalog, that when you press the tilde key, instead of having only 2 rows available in Build By, it gives you 5, and that makes searching through Build By so much easier. I'm gonna put those shelves there. Right by the sink, right by the mirror actually. Yeah, a little bit lower would be good, because you know, not everybody is very tall. So if we have the bottom shelf right at the level of the sink, more people will be able to use it. You know what else I want to do, since I love building so much, is create some ADA compliant public lots. I did that with my version of the blue velvet, which I call the purple velvet. Okay, there's nothing on the roof, so I don't have to do that. Okay, there, I like the bathrooms a lot better now. And the lounge area needs help, but I'm not sure what to do. You know, I've never seen anyone go out on this balcony. But see, I normally don't play long on this lot. I have Sims come here, do their workout, and then leave. Oh, okay, there is wood floor there. I was wondering if I thought that there was concrete floor on this balcony on the left, but there's not. Let's see. There's really nothing that Sims can do here. Like, they can't get refreshments or anything like that. And I don't think in the base game, unless I put a fridge here. Let me see what kind of fridge, because the one that I'm thinking about, I don't think is base game, unfortunately. Oh, wait, it is. Okay, the vintage fridge. All right. I'll put the vintage fridge here. So people can at least get a quick meal, you know, get a ham and cheese sandwich or something like that. How about a microwave? A microwave would be very nice. Let's give them a good one so they can get good food quality. Because, you know, after a workout, you don't want subpar food. Okay, so now they can actually get refreshments. These 3 chairs sitting here make absolutely no sense. None at all. At least not the way they were arranged. I mean, I could have rearranged them, but instead, let's put a love seat and an end table of some kind, or accent table. Doesn't have to be an end table. Let's do a hall table. And something simple. That would be good. A console table. And then we can put this bowl of fruit on top of the console table. That looks nicer. I'm gonna leave the lighting here. It's mood lighting. Maybe add one or two. Just so that the center isn't so dark. Can I change the color here? I can't. I guess I'd have to be in live mode to do that. mode we will go. And we are going to retrieve our little family from the park, send the kids home, and have Daddy go to the gym. So once I have a sim and live mode in the gym, I can change the color of those wall lights. All right. Kids going to daycare. The toddler is going to daycare. The child is going home. And Daddy is going to the gym. And you can travel by yourself. Melinda will be home. Maybe one of these days I'll do a gym build that has stuff for kids, like a toddler room, a playground. If there's a swimming pool, then a child can go and find stuff to do. But normally there's nothing for a child to do at a gym venue. And I'm going to change the name of this gym as well. Make it my own. Now what? While this is doing this, I'm going to refill my water bottle. And I will be right back. All right, I am back. I'll go back on camera in a minute or two. Got some background stuff that we're doing. I don't want to be on camera right now. So, okay, he is at the gym. He is boxing and he is facing the mirrors. I love it.
The God. The God. The God.
Do your thing. I don't even know the Sim's name because I don't play with him. Gregory. Yes, do your thing, Gregory. Okay. All right, now I can change the color of this light. I want to make this one green. Is that yellow green or is it? No, it's just green. Okay, so I want to make that one green. And I want to make this one blue. I think aqua. Yeah, aqua's what I'm looking for. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was the mood I was looking for. All right. So now I have a little bit more light there. And I want to do something with this section. It's not looking welcoming. So into build mode. And let me save before something happens, because not saving is tempting fate. I know a lot of people don't do this, that I like you make it over and then you go into live mode and test it. I learned the hard way to do that. Oh, I don't know if you've checked out my YouTube channel, but on my YouTube channel, I have a video of speed build that I did of San Myshuno, Meadows, and Lab, where I built a science center in a corner of San Myshuno Meadows. And in that speed build video, I talk about how I went through the build, I did it, I uploaded it to the gallery, thought everything was fine, and then days later I realized that the build was not at all playable. So I had to go back into the build and make it playable. So from that experience, I have learned my lesson. Before I upload anything to the gallery, I try to remember to play test it. I've downloaded stuff from the gallery too that I get it and it's like, why is this not working? And I go into build mode and find all kinds of stuff that I have to either take out or move around or replace in order to get the lot playable. So I try not to do that to people. But yeah, it's one of those things that I learned the hard way. Hey, you live and learn. Well, if you're smart, you live and learn anyway. Otherwise, you just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Okay, I do appreciate that that was mood lighting. I really do. But I would not want to hang out in this space. This space was not saying to me, hang out here after your workout. So what can I do to make this space somewhere that I, as a very irregular, before the pandemic anyway, gym goer, would say, let me use this space. My gym is actually open. It's a chain. So my gym has opened a lot of locations, but not the location that I'm a member of. So I still have not been able to go to the gym, which is no great loss, because I admit I have been extremely irregular about going to the gym over the past, I would say, 3 years. Yeah, I'm not hating on myself for that, because I had to realize I went through some stuff back in 2017, including the loss of my father, that really threw me for a loop, and it made me question a lot of ideas that I had about how I live my life, how I'm supposed to live my life. And I realized that I was trying to do too much. It took me probably another year to realize I was trying to do too much. And I made that realization from a conversation with my psychiatrist. I was telling her about some of the stuff I was so disappointed in myself about not having accomplished, because there were plans that I had had. Yeah, I had planned to go back to school and apply for a PhD. I was taking a few undergraduate classes to shore up my background in that field before I actually applied to a PhD program. And my plan had been to apply for the PhD at the end of 2017 with the hopes of actually starting a PhD if I was able to get into my school of choice. My hope was to actually begin a PhD in the fall of 2018. Um, and that didn't happen because I simply was not able to force myself to do the research project that I would have needed to shore up my application. So I was telling my psychiatrist how disappointed I was in myself that I hadn't done that, and how every time I even thought about doing it, I would get so tense and I didn't know what my problem was and stuff. And she said, Wanda, you have had a very difficult year. Because she, of course, she knew all of the stuff that I had been dealing with, and not just the loss of my dad, but that was the primary thing, by a long shot. And she said, Wanda, you've had a difficult year. The fact that you are not finding the motivation to go ahead and do this is not a sign that you're not doing enough. It's a sign that you're trying to do too much. And your body and your brain are trying to tell you to slow down and give yourself a chance to recover. After that conversation, I'm sorry about your dad. Thank you. Thank you, Gabby. After that conversation, I looked at how I had dealt with major loss and major challenges my whole life, not just during that period. And I realized I had always done that to myself. I always felt like I needed to push myself to keep going no matter what had happened. I didn't ever really allow myself to grieve anything. And yeah, it's the way I was brought up. I was brought up with this mentality that any kind of grieving was basically having a pity party. And there was no space for that if you really want to accomplish anything in life, or at the very least, if you don't want the people around you to get pissed off at you for harshing their mellow. And so I had to really reevaluate how I constantly pushed myself to overachieve. So I have not yet applied to a PhD program or done the research project. I would like to at some point in time. That is on my agenda. However, I don't have a specific timetable for it because I'm still recovering from a lifetime of overachieving and burnout. I've only, I would say, within the past year, started to feel like I'm not burnt out anymore. And it is, I did not know that it was possible to live life and enjoy life the way I am now. Now would not be a good time for me to apply to a PhD program because I am supporting my mom as she was recently diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And my brother and I are on that journey with her, making sure that she gets the meds that she needs and her doctor's appointments, and everything is made so much more complicated because of the pandemic. So now would not be a good time anyway for me to be in a PhD program. So I am okay with that. I'm patient with myself. And I think that in the future, whenever I do attempt something challenging like that, whether it's a PhD program or something else, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. Um, but whenever I do attempt something like that, I'm going to be in a much better headspace than I would have been in if I had continued to push myself and had actually entered into a PhD program in 2018. When the time is right, you'll know when to go. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, can you imagine if, in that state of burnout, not even knowing that I was burnt out, say I had pushed myself anyway, which I could have done because I pretty much have a PhD in pushing myself. So imagine if I had pushed myself and I had gone into a PhD program, even if I had found a way to continue to do well. And I was able to, take all my classes and stuff like that. So I would have started in the fall of 2018. I would be 2 years into it now. So I wouldn't even be into the point where I would be researching and writing my dissertation. I would still be taking classes. So I would be juggling classes and working, whether part-time or full-time, I don't know. But juggling classes, working, the rest of my life, my home life, because I do have a partner who I enjoy spending time with. So be juggling my relationship with my partner. And then on top of that, my mom's stage 4 breast cancer diagnosis. I don't know what that would have done to me mentally. And I'm glad that I don't have to find out. So without that pressure, I'm able to do what I can to support my mom and help her on this journey for however long this journey will be. And I can continue to take care of myself and actually enjoy my life. Some people say everything happens for a reason. I don't necessarily believe that everything happens for a reason, but I do believe that if we pay attention, we can find meaning and be grateful for things. And I'm very grateful that I am where I am right now instead of in a PhD program dealing with everything else on top of that. Okay, so this looks, I don't know that this necessarily looks like a gym, but it's so pretty and it's welcoming. I mean, if I had just finished working out at the gym, maybe I got something to eat and whatnot, I would hang out in this corner, maybe read some fitness magazines or something like that while I ate my food or chatted with my fellow gym goers. So yeah, I'm pleased with how that turned out. I might remove the coffee table. The coffee table might be a little bit much because there are the end tables in the bookcase. But everything else, oh, this is cute. Did I use this? I don't know that I've ever used this potted palm. I like that. I'm gonna put that in this corner over here. Oh, this is the one that was outside. Yeah, I've never used it in a build, but that is nice. And let's see, we have a console table there. And yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll remove the coffee table, but I'll leave the end tables and the single chair. An end table might be nicer over here as well instead of a console table, but let's see what they have in the way of clutter. The Moschino pack has a stack of magazines, and I really wish that was base game because that would be completely appropriate to go on one of these tables. You have a stack of fitness magazines in the gym. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? They've got books. I don't really want to do the books though, because you'd be more likely to find magazines. than bugs. I'll stick a box of tissues up there. I'll put it down there. You know, so you can dry your tears after your trainer has worked you to death. Okay, I like how the upstairs looks now. And I already did the downstairs, so I will leave that. Let me see, did I give this any lot trays? Ooh, I didn't. Okay. Bracing breezes, I think that's the one. Yes, that's for exercise. I'm not going to do clothing optional. Because can you imagine using the gym machines clothing optional? No, 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 no. That is not for me. Sunny aspect, not so much. No, not filthy. No creepy crawlies. Not fast internet. I should make an office with a computer so if I need to change stuff, I can do that. No, I don't want child's play. There's nothing for kids here. Charisma, comedy, and mischief. Yeah, let's do convival. Because this is, you know, generally you're here and you're socializing with other folk as well. Okay. So we are not going to call it movers and shakers. Let's see. Let's look up bodybuilders. Oh, you know what? You don't have to be a bodybuilder. Let's name this gym after Flojo. Flojo. I mean, Flojo Gym is kind of basic. What's another word for gym? I never tried the bad ones like flighty, volcanic, creepy, crawly. There is a lot in Salvadorada that has the creepy crawly trait. I don't think I took out that trait. I haven't done a lot of building in Salvadorada, though I did redo that lot. Well, I added some stuff to the lot. I didn't change it too much. Oh, Flojo Fitness. That's what I'll call it. And I think it just means that there are more bugs. Like bats came there one night. My son was on vacation there, and there were bats there. I think spiders came, and she had to use her spider repellent or something like that. I generally don't. I don't do creepy builds, or at least I haven't experimented with that yet. I don't have the spooky stuff pack, and I don't have the vampires pack, so I don't have really much spooky stuff in Build and Buy anyway. Yes, Flojo, I know, that was my girl. I was hurt when she passed. I really was. So yeah, I don't have a lot of creepy stuff, so I haven't really had a reason to use the creepy crawlies lot trait. Though I guess if I was doing a revenge build, like if I was making a build for a sim that I didn't like, then I could just make that as part of their build if I wanted to. body, the spirit of Florence Griffith Joyner. Let me make sure that I spell her name right. Florence Griffith Joyner. Yeah, I did. The spirit of Florence Griffith Joyner as you work to achieve your body's fullest potential. Base game. Willow Crick. Lotus House. And that is a gem. This is this renovation is based off of movers and shakers. 'Cause I don't want to make it seem as though I actually built the whole thing from the ground up. I did not. So I'll make it clear that it's a renovation. But this renovation is of movers and shakers. It features better lighting, more workout equipment, fully enclosed showers, and a welcoming upstairs lounge area. It features better lighting, more workout equipment, fully enclosed showers, and a welcoming upstairs lounge area. Okay, cool. And this I can share to the gallery. And I want to overwrite it. Yes, I do. Because I would never ever use the other version again. Have you done an island living build? Yes, I did. Her daughter's a great singer. Really? I didn't know that. I'll have to check her out. Yes, I did. I have done a few island living builds. So I created a library for island living, and let's see, I built a family home on one of the islands there, renovated the building that is near the volcano, because I had a sim move in there and with his wife, and so they needed he moved in first, and then he met his wife and got married, and then she moved in with him. So yeah, I built that up a bit, and then when his daughter became a young adult, she moved out and she moved into what's it called? Pure Perfection, which is in the upper, if you're looking at the Sulani map, it's in the upper left-hand corner neighborhood. So I renovated that lot. The house itself I liked, but the inside needed to be fleshed out. So it was kind of like a studio. The bed was just out in the open and whatnot. So I made a bedroom, renovated the bathroom. I pretty much renovated the whole inside, added kitchen counters, a couple of island counters so they can sit up at the windows. And then when they had a daughter, I built a small bedroom for her just off of the kitchen. And recently she, not the daughter, the mom sim has recently leveled up in her writing career, so I built a small writing studio for her off of the dock. So I've done a fair amount of building in Sulani. I love that world. I really do. One of my favorite legacy families lives in that world now. They didn't start out there. They actually started out in Oasis Springs, and she and her family are the second No, the third. They're the third generation in Sulani. So in that save file, this is Paka, and he is one of the sims that is auto-generated if you have island living. My sim moved from Oasis Springs to Sulani, and Paka was a family friend, so he moved in with her. And they were close in age, and one thing led to another, and they ended up getting married. They had 5 kids, and so now their oldest son has a daughter, and his daughter now has a daughter. So she is, let's see, so this Justice is the one who moved to Sulani, and then she had PJ, and PJ had Lala, and now Lala has Noel. So yeah, Lala is the second generation of one of my legacy save families that's in Sulani. And that is such a beautiful world, and I love playing with the mermaids. It's so much fun just being able to customize their mermaid form and then watching them swim through the water. I love the ocean. If I had my way, I would live right on the ocean as well. So playing with a household in Sulani is like living out my own dreams. That's what The Sims is for. While that's saving, I will hydrate. One world I have not built that much in is San Myshuno. I'm still getting used to that with the whole apartments thing. I wanted the pack. I bought the pack, spent my hard-earned money for it, and so I'm getting used to the build restrictions. Because with apartments, you can't change the outside walls and windows. You can change the inside to a certain extent. But I recently had one of my other legacy families move to San Myshuno, and she got married, and now she and her husband have a child. But when she moved there, she bought a penthouse. So I can actually change the exterior walls on that lot, which is a whole lot of fun and more what I'm used to because I'm used to playing on lots that have houses. Okay, so we have Audre Lorde Archives, Flojo Fitness, the Blue Velvet. Okay, I have my own version of the Blue Velvet, which I call the Purple Velvet. So let's start with that. When I first began playing the game, I didn't like the fact that the game really is not created with accessibility in mind. So, and I'm still learning about accessibility myself. I'm educating myself on it because I have close friends who use wheelchairs, and I need to know about that stuff because if I want to be able to hang out with them and go places with them, I need to know what's accessible and what's not so I can plan accordingly instead of making them do all of the work, which I think is a sucky thing to do and not what you should do if you're a true friend. So I am educating myself about accessibility, and as I've done that, I've seen that, The Sims, it doesn't have much in the way of accessibility, and I don't like that. So when I first started playing the game, that's why I wasn't finding what I needed. I still have lot type as park. I noticed that, and a lot of my first builds did not have any steps leading up to them because I was really trying to make accessible builds. Now I will do builds that do have porches and stuff like that, and I enjoy doing that. But I want to do more accessible builds like when I first started. So the purple velvet was, even though I didn't remove the step, the purple velvet was my answer to not having any accessible public lots. I removed the second floor
Godfathers.
and put everything on the first. So now they're both restrooms are on the first floor. You can see them here, and I extended out the patio, added a wedding arch so that you can use this as a wedding venue. I've done that a couple of times. Put some benches outside and redid the bar a bit. I added another table there, and redid it just because I wanted it accessible. Now I added this dance floor. This, for a base game version, this dance floor will have to go. This comes with get together, so I can sell that, and they'll dance even without a dance floor. What I can do actually is just change the color of the hardwoods. So let's make the dance area, turn that like so. Let's just make the dance area lighter in color. Yeah, we'll make it 4x4. It doesn't have to be huge. I found I don't play much on this lot. And I think it's because I don't find it all that interesting. So that tells me I need to change some things. I don't know what yet, but I need to change the lot and make it a lot that I would like to play more on. Now this is going to be a base game only version. The purple velvet, because I use it for my own gameplay, I don't have to limit myself to base game. But this is one, I'm putting it in my save file. I want other people to use it. And since Willow Creek is one of the base game worlds, I want to make sure that everything I have in here is base game only. Are these base game only? I think they are, but I'm not sure. Yeah, those are base game. Okay. And then I would have to check. So yeah, when I got rid of the stairs, then I added another archway just to open up the bar area more. I like that. That's a nice touch. It's so dark in here, but it's a jazz and blues bar, so it's gonna be darker. I just don't know what I can do to make this lot one that I would like to play. Oh, you know what? I need to remove one of these speakers because I didn't realize even if you have venue speakers of the same type, they aren't necessarily playing the same song on each instance of the speaker, and that can get very confusing. So we have a speaker here in the main dining area. I just removed the speaker that I had in the bar area. And I had two speakers outside because in real life, more than likely, you would have two speakers outside. But I removed one of the speakers. I think what I'll do is move this speaker so that it's playing out to the courtyard. There. So I don't expect to have to change too much. This lot does not need potties because why would you bring a toddler to a bar? I'm sure there are people who do. However, I would strongly question their parenting skills. Let's make that symmetrical and put one on either side, and let's add some plants. It'll be easier if I make this base game only. Filter by base game. Let's open that up so I can actually see my build by catalog. Where's the potted plant that I just placed in the gem? It's a potted fern. Oh, here it is. Potted palm. I'll put that there, and the dark pot is actually perfect. Perfect for this venue. Spin that some. That's gonna stick out through the wall. There. Good. Now they should be able to still get into the restroom. Of course, I will check that. Let's see, one there. Let's see if I can fit a potted palm behind the piano. Make some space for it. Test that out to make sure it works. And one more. Here. Okay. Change the name to King Blues, and that can be in honor of anyone who took up the King nomenclature for their name. BB King, Nat King Cole, you know, whoever. Do I want to do anything with this side? I do want to change this because this is supposed to be hanging off of something, and when I removed the second floor there wasn't hanging off of anything anymore. How about, can I size it down? I mean, I can size it down. How will it look if I size it down? Go down. Where are you? There you are. Okay. That's still kind of big. Size it down again. Okay, that looks better. Oh, awesome. The cool thing about watching other people build is that you learn so much. I've learned a lot about being able to place items using Alt and using up and down like I just did with this, just from watching other simmers do it. And I want one on this side. I don't remember if I added these extra lights or if they were already there, but I like how they look. So I'll leave them as they are. I forgot about their basement. Haven't done anything with the basement. Cool. Okay. Now I would like to double check what packs this uses. We're gonna save this new because I'm gonna change the name of it. And I don't want to overwrite. Well, no, I don't want to overwrite the other version because the other version has stuff from other packs, and I like those things in my build. So let's go here. Let me go to my gallery. Yeah, this is what I'm changing the name of. So we're going to call this one King Blues. Oh, great. And it doesn't use any pack specific content. Awesome. That's what I wanted to see. Did I save this to the gallery? I'm not sure I did. Well, I mean, I think I saved the other version. Let's see. Base game. Willow Crick. Lotus homes. So I'm going to save this to the gallery. Why did you not change the name of it? I don't like that. Okay. Okay, now it changed the name of it. At least I hope so. Let me, oh shoot, I didn't play test it before I saved it to the gallery. Let me go ahead and do that now, but first, okay, if it's not a bar, what is it? Not a karaoke bar. Do they have it as a lounge? No, they don't have it as a lounge. Okay, let's go back to all. Oh, nightclub. Okay. Lot type, because I think I have 3 versions and I only want 2 versions in my library. Okay, no, I only have 2 versions. Okay, good. That's exactly what I wanted. Alright, let me play test this before I let it sit in the library too long. In the gallery, I mean. If I've got to move some stuff, I'd rather do it now before it's up in the gallery a very long time, misleading people about its playability. Alright, sir, you have another venue to go to. We're going to... Where are you? I think I left him at the gym. Wow, it doesn't feel like I've been streaming for 2.5 hours, but I have. I think I'll make this my last build, because I have some other stuff that I want to do, and I think I'll go stream on my other channel. I have some photos. I'm also a fine art photographer. And I was out yesterday with my camera, so I have a few photos I'd like to edit. I started editing them. I didn't edit all of them. And it's been even longer since I've streamed on that channel. We are traveling without the kids. So that channel is Wanda the Lotus. That's where I, on rare, very, very rare occasions, stream my fine art photography. I like to stream my editing process, talk through my thought process while I'm editing. Because I didn't see a lot of that on Twitch, and I figured it would be nice to provide a little bit of that from time to time. Come on, sir. Oh, I need to save my game. I may have at some point, but just to be on the safe side, I'll go ahead and save now. Bad things happen when you don't save on a regular basis. All right, let us go test play King Blues. And technically it's not fully ADA accessible. I do have that in the description, but because there is a step that you have to go up to get into it, it's not fully ADA accessible. So I need to change the description. Okay, I need to see if he can get into the restroom past this potted plant. That is not where I told you to go. I know you're friendly, you want to chat with the people, but we're not chatting with the people right now. Gabby, thank you for joining my Discord. I appreciate that. Okay, great. He can get in there. And yes, those are all of the links to my social. I'm being stalked by Gabby. No, thank you, Gabby. I appreciate it. I like meeting new people. We have shared interests like this. Okay, so he can get in there, and can he get to the piano bench? He can. Awesome. Ooh, boy. You know, from time to time, the game just does not do well with certain CC. I'm assuming it's CC that's making her come out like this. Possibly the skin tones. Possibly the CC skin tones. Because, you know, if you are a simmer of color, you already know the struggle. So I won't even get into that. Okay, you know what? Let me just go into the gallery. Can I just edit the description? I think I have to remove it. Yeah, let's remove it from the gallery, and then I can edit it. I need to edit the description anyway. Let's see. The spirits of BB King, Nat, King, Cole, and what is the term that they use when you take on a name? Okay, BB King's last name actually was King. His first name was Riley, which I did not know. Literature in jazz. But there are a group of people that will put King in their name. It's something having to do with the jazz. It has something to do with people who perform jazz. Taking the King name in jazz, maybe. I'm looking for a little bit of history about that so I can put it in my description. I like to put a little, educate the people when I put these builds up. Let me look up Nat King Cole, because King was not part of his name. He added it to his stage name. And other people have done the same thing. So I'm looking for the history. And I don't remember where I read it before. What's that, hun? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, they named themselves that after the nursery rhyme in which Old King Cole was a merry old soul. It was one of his first groups. They called themselves the King Cole Swingsters after the nursery rhyme. But that's not what I'm looking for either. Let me see. I became aware of it via Jazzmobile. A young man who added King to his name. He plays... Learn something new, never knew. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, King Solomon. Yes. He calls himself King Solomon. King Solomon Hicks. And I became aware of this tendency from reading a biography on him. Let me see if I can find that. Solomon Hicks, American guitarist. Hicks has been a blues guitarist since he was 13. Performed during the New York Knicks game. It doesn't say anything about his name. Why he put King in front of his name. Oh, I can't find it. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. The spirits of B.B. King, Nat King Cole, and King Solomon Hicks are present in this blues nightclub. There are two spacious restrooms. I don't really have to put that because they can see that. Let's see, get down on the dance floor to live entertainment or recorded blues jams. It's spirits of B.B. King, Nat King Cole, and King Solomon Hicks are present in this blues nightclub. Get down on the dance for live entertainment or recorded blues jams. Short pathway at the back door opens onto a roofed patio with fountain and bridal arch. Yes. Now I'll put it back on the, uh-oh. What don't you like? Is it too long? Or you don't want me to change? Description contains a disallowed word. Really? What word is that? I didn't put any bad words in here. Okay, let's use process of elimination. Let me remove bridal arch. Huh. What the heck? I didn't have a problem with that. Let me remove bridal arch, or there's something about that it didn't like. Nope, that's not it. You're being weird, Sims. Disallowed word. I don't see. Unless it doesn't like BB. Because, you know, games are weird sometimes. It would help if you were specific about the disallowed word. Let's try that. No, it's still unhappy. Let's see, if I put this, let me put that description in a text window. Delete that entirely because I do not know what the game is going on about a disallowed word. King that can go on King Solomon hits us already here. Get down on the dance floor to live entertainment or recorded blues jams. Let's just say, let's keep it simple. Enjoy live entertainment or recorded blues. A short pathway at the back door opens onto a roofed patio with fountain. Bridal arch, because the fountain is not a big deal, but the fact that there's a bridal arch is a big deal. I don't know why it's complaining about a disallowed word. I honestly don't. Oh no, wait, I don't want to place a lot. Okay, let's quit this. I don't know why it's doing that, but I did remove it from the gallery. Huh? Okay, you know what? That is so weird. It did save it to my library, but it won't let me put it in the gallery. Strangeness. Go home, Sims, you drunk. No, I don't want to delete the build. How how about if I delete everything except for the hashtags? Oh, jeez. Seriously? What in the description is a problem? None of this is a problem. What the heck? Okay, well, it's up on the gallery now. This game, I swear. Well, I will troubleshoot this later. It is 6:30 p.m. here in New York City, and that means it is time for me to contemplate dinner. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun streaming and chatting. Welcome to my Discord, Gabby. I appreciate you hanging out with me here and following me on my socials. Gabby was kind enough to do the command to display all of my socials in the chat. So if you're looking for me on social media, then you can find me on those links. Now let me see who is live. Thank you, Gabby. You enjoy the rest of your day too. Let's see who I would like to raid. Oh, you know what? Let's raid that girl Nisha. She is doing American Truck Simulator, which I think is cool. So we're going to do that. And I am going to have some dinner. And then I'll see if I feel like streaming on my other channel. I've been live here for a little while, so it's like 2.5, almost 3 hours here. So I might not stream. 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes is a lot for me to be on. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Let's go and raid that girl Nisha.